you needed some time to think about returning to coaching. Do you look back at that and say
How
worthwhile?
silly it seems. You know what? Last year was a really humbling year for me, Rich, and a year that I lost a lot of perspective, but it was really beneficial for me. I've been so fortunate to be a part of this organization going on my 7th year. And, you don't take for granted how much of a blessing it is to be able to do this. And I love this. And for whatever reason whether you get caught up a little bit too much in your own ego, or you lose your values and principles that have guided why you love this so much, you get a little bit too caught up in the results instead of loving, the people in the process. And it seems so silly. And I'm so grateful that I had people around me to help kind of gain that perspective, to really be able to reflect and get humbled in a way that forces you to say, like, all right, it's one thing to read books about it. It's another thing to go through it and say, man, this isn't the leader. This isn't the person you want to be. And you have an opportunity to be able to rectify that. And I can't even believe that was a thought, but it was something that I can be a stubborn guy, Rich. And I think going through last year, while it was not the most enjoyable, it was very necessary to continue to grow, to mature, to try to be more the man that I want to be, whether that be as a coach, a husband, or a friend, or hopefully sooner than later, a father, as we know. So
yes.
I'm loving this. I love this sport. I love coaching this sport. I love working with players and coaches, and love working with Les and Kevin and Tony and Mr. Kroenke. And I laugh. It's almost funny to ever think that was a consideration, but it was something that when you go through some challenging times, you can learn a lot. And I do feel like that was what occurred for me.
Were you just taking the losses too hard? You just weren't.
I think so. And I think sometimes you're internalizing it, and again, as embarrassing as it to admit, you tie up your identity or your self-worth in those things, and you realize, like, hey, who the heck have I become as a result of this chase? Instead of pouring into the guys, doing the best that you can, loving the opportunity to compete. But it was almost like, as a result of so many things going well, you just lose total perspective, and you think anything less than winning it again or doing certain things that you've been fortunate enough to do just doesn't make it even worth it. And God, is that silly? But at the time, you just lose perspective and you lose your way. And fortunately, I feel very confident that because of the people that I'm around and some of the things that you just have to be able to dive into and be honest with yourself, I feel a lot more like being, I feel like I'm a lot closer to being the man that the people that I love and care about deserve to be around.
I'm going to take a shot. I don't know the answer to this question, and normally as a paid professional that I am, Sean, I like to know the answers, or at least assume before asking. But did you ever have a conversation with John Madden about coaching? Did you ever pick his brain? Because
you know what? I wish I did. I'm very familiar with Coach Madden's background. I've always been a huge fan of what he brought to this game,
right.
what he represented. And I certainly wish I did. I didn't get a chance to, but I have heard many stories, whether it was through my grandfather or through other people.
Right.
So I wish I did, though, Rich.
Well, about, starting at being a head coach at a young age, and then getting success at a very young part of your career. And then after a while, just he would say some of the things that you're saying right now, to be quite honest with you, Sean. Like, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. And, Dick Vermeil's been a great sounding board for me.
Okay.
He had some similar experiences, and then so did Coach Walsh. Coach Walsh went through a very similar, I think there can be sometimes a beautiful torment, but it's all about the perspective, not losing that. And I felt like I did, and ultimately, not fun, but it was a necessary thing. And I'm really grateful for those things that I learned, because I know I learned a whole lot more last year, and a lot of the reflection that it forced than what I did in any of those first few years, even if they were a lot better seasons in terms of the results.
Okay. And let's finish up with the news again that you just alluded to moments ago. You're going to be a dad when? When's the due date here?
The due date is later in October. That's some scary stuff. If he's anything like his dad, Rich, he's going to wear his mom out. But he's an active little guy in his mom's tummy. I mean, he's kicking and moving, and I wouldn't expect it any other way, but it's been a really smooth pregnancy. Veronica's been awesome. Yeah, exactly. What a blessing that's been. And so was able to go to the doctor yesterday, and we're really excited to meet our little man here in about a month. It still hasn't hit me. She's got the nursery set up. She's ready to go. And
okay.
Sometimes
All
I
right.
sit there and look at it and think, oh, this is some scary, awesome stuff.
Just get out of the way, man. You can't
That's
do
right.
anything. You can't do any, honestly, you can't do anything. You just have to be supportive. That's my 2 cents. I've had three kids, Sean, you didn't ask, but I'll give my help to you.
I
Just
love it.
get out of the way, but obviously be there and be supportive. What week of the season is it? What game is it? Do you know?
You know what? I don't know that. I'm 1 week
okay.
at a time, but I do know that this guy is around October 24th, Rich.
Okay, I like it. You're taking it 1 week at a time, professionally and personally. I love it, man.
True coach speak for you.
Okay, and you're registered. You should and you should tell people you're registered at Tiffany's because that's where the Lombardi Trophy is also made.
Hey,
that's a good line for you.
Touche.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.